immune system wasn't functioning right, so I had to go to the doctor, had to get a colonoscopy, all these tests done, and was almost diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which the doctor was like, you're like on the pre-stages of it, but we're not sure if we should diagnose you with it or not. Hello everyone, I'm Yogini. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about our mind-body connection, especially the way our emotions impact our physical body. And if you're like me, you don't know anything about how that is related, because honestly, a couple of years ago, I just thought like, yeah, stress affects your sleep and like, then you get tired and you're sleep deprived, and that's really all the foundational knowledge I had. But I got really involved in self-healing and meditation and stuff a few years ago. And that's when I learned about how deep the mind-body connection is. People say that your gut is your second brain, and it's honestly true. Your gut is your second brain. You should be able to listen to your body because it tells you when things are wrong, when you're putting too much stress on yourself, and when you just need to take a break. So let's get started about learning more about our mind-body connection. So this is not something new, even though science says it's like, oh, this new concept of psychoneuroimmunology. I know, huge word, PNI is its acronym, but science has just discovered it, whereas Ayurvedic texts have long known and mentioned that how much our emotions impact our physical health. And there have been several authors, renowned authors, especially Dr. Bradley Nelson. He wrote The Body Code and the Emotion Code, which I will deep dive into later. Honestly, one of the most life-changing books I've ever read. But they've been telling people about how our emotions impact our body and why we should listen to our body. And so let's start with how our immune system is related to our emotions. So let's start with the autonomic nervous system. It consists of a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system is like your fight and flight. And if you're constantly in your fight and flight, your immune system is like constantly in alert, and you're just going to get fatigued. Your immune system's gonna like get weaker if you're constantly in that mode. And so you ideally want to be in a parasympathetic mode, which is to rest and digest, or like what do they call it, homeostasis, where your body is like just at rest. So that system is impacted. Your immune system, obviously, you have those days where like you've just worked super hard like throughout the week, and then suddenly you wake up one morning and you just feel so tired because your body is like, what are you doing to me? You're overworking me, both body and mind, and now I don't have enough rest for you to function, and so we're gonna be lying in bed until I recover. And so that's how your immune system gets impacted. And also your endocrine system gets impacted. And your endocrine system is like your hormones, and we always talk about like hormonal imbalances, especially in women. Like if they're like super stressed out, then their like period either comes later or it comes irregularly. And it's happened to some of my friends, and I agree. Like you really need to take care of yourself and your body to function normally, and for your body to regulate the emotions on a timely manner. This is to say that in today's world, doctors just treat symptoms and they don't treat the underlying cause of those symptoms. So when you go into the doctor's office, the doctor always asks like, oh, what are you experiencing? What's wrong? What, like, and they give you the medication and feel, oh, you're better for just the time being, but you haven't actually treated the root cause of that symptom that you had. And what Dr. Bradley Nelson had said in his book, The Emotion Code, which I highly recommend you guys read, and I'm not getting paid for this. I just think it was an amazing book, very enlightening to me. He said that emotions get trapped in your body. And how I resonated with it was that like he had like this emotion code chart in which you can like self-diagnose yourself with the type of emotion that might be trapped in that part of the body if like that part of your body is like hurting and stuff. So for me, for example, a few years ago, I had really bad, like, what I want to say, I had really bad bowel movement, right? To put it nicely. And it was just like very chronic, and I was ill, like my immune system wasn't functioning right, so I had to go to the doctor, had to get a colonoscopy, all these tests done, and was almost diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which the doctor was like, you're like on the pre-stages of it, but we're not sure if we should diagnose you with it or not. And that really freaked me out because I was like 20, 21, 22 years old, and it's really scary to know that you've been diagnosed with something that early on. And so I got into this like self-healing journey, and I read his book, and there he's like, yeah, some emotions of like grief might be trapped in your colon, and that's probably what's making it like, like dysfunction. And you can like use natural healing methods to get that emotion, that trapped emotion out of your body. And so this is just like one reference to some of the wisdom that he's provided in that book. But it was really helpful for me because I could not, like, for the longest time, like, pinpoint what was causing like such bad bowel movement for me. I like literally like tried all these different types of diets. I'm like, okay, maybe like I'm suddenly like lactose intolerant, or like maybe I can't have bread anymore. And so like I experimented and stuff. Nothing was helping, and that's why I had to end up going to the doctor, and I got some like medication. But obviously the root cause was not treated, and when I read this book, I was able to treat myself and heal myself through this book. And so I hope that this example is very powerful for you guys to know how much your emotions that you like regularly experience, if you experience them too intensely and for a chronic amount of time or for a long time, they're going to get trapped in some certain part of your body, and you need to work on your emotional state of being in order to get rid of it. And some of the miracles that Dr. Bradley Nelson talks about in his book is just like eye-opening. He's like he has these like magnets that he's created, and he's like, you're like an electrical energy being, right? And so he's a chiropractor, and so a lot of his patients come in and they have like all these problems with their back, their legs, or like anywhere on their body, and he makes sure to like go down his like process flow chart to like see if there is an emotion trapped, or if he just like needs to do like the regular work that chiropractors do. It is amazing. You guys should read it. Anyways, enough about this book. Let me give you guys some common examples. So for example, let's say anxiety. A lot of people are anxious, and when you're anxious, you're constantly in a state of worry, and there's all these thoughts running around through your head, and so you can't sleep, and you're constantly getting like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and that 4 or 5 hours builds up, and your body's not getting enough rest, and therefore some parts of your body start malfunctioning. And so that's one example of how emotions can impact your body. Another is like when you're like always like an angry or resentful person. A lot of those people have like high blood pressures, and they might like that might translate into like heart disease or even like grief. It depresses the immune system. Like for me, I was going through a tough time, and obviously my body's like, I can't handle all these emotions that you're throwing at me, and I'm gonna show up in the way I do because you decided not to take care of me. And so yeah, this is why people get sick. And I think it's very wrong that depression is treated with a bunch of pills. Really, it needs to be treated with like a more intrinsic look on how and why the person is feeling that way, what can be done to have that adjusted. So like go to therapy more often, or like, you know, practice mindfulness or something, not pills. I don't know. I'm just like against taking medication like that. So yeah, anyways, so I was trying to say with all of that is that so physically you express something, and then emotionally you feel that something. And if you consistently feel that something, it's going to lead to a problem in your body. And so let's say you're in school. You're like super stressed because of all of the load that is on you with work, that is given out, like in college, the papers, whatever tests, right? You're super stressed out, and that stress lasts like the whole semester. And at first you were fine during the semester, but then towards the end of the semester you started getting like really like tired and fatigued. You had no energy, low energy levels. And then at the end of the semester, you realize that you have like your like elbow is like aching or something, like some part of your body is like chronically aching or something is malfunctioning, and you have to go to get it checked out. Well, welcome to the vicious cycle. You have not taken care of yourself, and you found yourself in a chronic state of stress, and that has reflected in physical in a physical ailment, which is like your elbow aching. It could be anything though, but that's just an example. So you don't want to be stuck in that vicious cycle. And so my recommendations on how you can heal yourself is that you should be aware of the emotions that you feel on a regular basis. Do you constantly feel stressed out at work? Do you constantly feel angry? Why do you feel angry? Be aware of the emotions that you feel, and it's not just being aware of them, it's okay, now that you're aware of your emotions, like write them down. Why are you feeling this? How can you mitigate it? Or what can you do to like feel better or feel a more positive emotion? And also know any and all positive emotions that you feel throughout the day, because that is going to signal to your body and mind that, oh, you're a happy camper, right? Like like you're not just stressed out, or you're not just angry the whole day. Like if there's one prominent emotion that you're experiencing, then that's the emotion that your mind and body is going to remember. So what I'm saying is that you should listen to your body, you should be aware of the emotions that you feel, and you shouldn't just dismiss all the negative emotions that you feel. You need to make sure that you address them and that you put them away, or like release them. And you can do this through one, journaling. I honestly, when I'm like really messed up, like emotionally, or like I just need to like get something out, I just journal, because sometimes it is the best way to emotionally release and to understand what you're going through yourself. And so let's say you're like super angry, and you can't talk to somebody about it because you're gonna blow up on them, right? And so you take out your journal, you start writing stuff down, and then you, after like half an hour of writing everything that you ever wanted down and why something is making you feel angry and what's going on with yourself, you put the pen down, you're gonna read your journal, and you're gonna realize, wow, like this is how much anger I felt, and this is why I felt it. And you're going to realize for yourself, without going to therapy, why you feel this way. And you also just release that emotion, because now you're not angry anymore, and you realize that, oh, this is what's making me angry, and this is how I'm going to solve it. So that's one way. Another way, and this is my favorite way, is through meditation. And I am a huge proponent of meditation, because I don't think in today's world a lot of people actually meditate as much as they should. Especially with the go of like today's lifestyle, people just like don't stop to take like even 5 minutes for themselves. It's like, oh, I have some time like in between like meetings, or like after, yeah, in like when they're having a break, you're just on your phone. Even like when like you're eating, you're on your phone or laptop or whatever scrolling, and you're eating at the same time. Like literally focus on the food that you're eating. Come on. I'm back. I had some technical difficulties, but as I was saying, meditation is something that people don't do on a regular basis because the society is just like all go, go, go. But I think that it should be incorporated into daily practice, even like 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes is like literally life changing because that's when your body can like calm down and just take in everything that's been going on all around you, and just, you know, be at that rest and digest like phase, in that parasympathetic mode, instead of the sympathetic mode that you're on every single like minute of every day, which is really bad for your body. And that's how, you know, all that emotional trauma comes up. And so I recommend just like sitting still. Like, go find a quiet space in your home, sit there, crisscross applesauce, and just internally like look within yourself. Notice how you feel, do a body scan. Like, is there any part of you that's blocked? You know, and that can probably signal if you have a trapped emotion as well. But I'm not gonna spoil the surprise if you guys want to read the book. Anyways, so yeah, just like sit there for 5 minutes, listen to your breath. Don't be thinking about work. Don't be thinking about anything during that time. This is your time for your body, for you to connect with your body. And the last thing I want to touch upon is natural healing through like the food that you intake. So diet is really important. I feel like people like do not, you know, have teas as much as they should, which herbal like medicine teas are so good for you. And yes, it is storming outside. Are so good for you and your body, especially if you drink tea before bed. It just calms you down and like gets you more relaxed, and, you know, winds you down for a good night's rest. So I will make a more detailed video about that sometime in the future, but those are some of the ways that you can that you can mitigate this like vicious cycle that you might put your body through of like being emotionally stressed out and then leading to physical symptoms, and then like so on, and it goes back and forth, and suddenly you find yourself with a disease. Like, you don't want that to happen. That is not the end goal. We want to stay in homeostasis, and we want to be well, and we want to make sure that we live a healthy, fulfilling life. And so if you resonated with this video, or if you found anything helpful in it, please comment below. And especially if you read the book, The Emotion Code, please comment below. I would love to know your thoughts on it, because that book was just so eye-opening to me, like I've said like a bajillion times in this video. Anyways, until next time, thank you for listening. I'll see you later.